In today's video, I'm going to show you how to quickly and easily adjust the chin rest on your violin. Now, there are a lot of reasons why you might have to adjust the chin rest on your violin. Maybe it's loose, you need to tighten it, or maybe you want to switch it out to a different type of chin rest because there's a lot of different types of chin rests. Well, today I'm going to show you how to quickly and easily do that. You don't even need a special tool or anything. So let's get to it. Okay, so for today's example, I've just got a very standard chin rest here. This is a very common type, you see them all the time. Some chin rests fit over the middle of the violin symmetrically, and some of them fit over to the side like this, and some of them fit off to the side, but they don't have this portion, it goes over the tailpiece. But fortunately, they all work the same. Okay, so there is a common tool that luthiers have at violin shops to adjust chin rests, and you could buy them online as well, but you don't really need one of these. There's other household things you have laying around that you can probably use to adjust. So every violin, pretty much, they've got these brackets here that have these little holes in them. So as long as you've got something that's fairly strong, you can stick it through the hole and you can turn these little brackets, okay? And the only thing is that whatever you have, right? And so in this example, I've got a giant paper clip, I've got a large paper clip, it's pretty standard, and then I've got like this little pin here. It's like a wall tack. I don't know what they're called. I'll show the other camera here. So here's a giant paper clip. Here's like a large paper clip, and then I got one of these wall tack things. I don't know if you can see it very well. Anyway, the thing is that once you stick it in the hole of this bracket, you just want to make sure you don't go too far, because if you go too far, you'll scratch your violin on the other side. But it's pretty simple. So basically, let's say, okay, so for example, you can see this chin rest is very loose, right? So what we're going to want to do is we're going to, this one bracket, we're going to want to turn it away from the middle of the violin, right? This nut right here. So turn it away from that. And then the other one, we're going to want to turn towards the end pin. Right? And I would suggest don't get one side like super tight, just tighten them, try to do it symmetrically. So you do one, one or two, turns, and then you do the other one a couple turns, right? And then, yeah, once you do that, and then now, boom, it's as nice and tight. And another thing to watch out is to make sure that when you're positioning this chin rest, make sure that the tailpiece is kind of in the middle of this hole. There's different types of styles, but you want to make sure that your chin rest is not contacting the tailpiece, because if it contacts the tailpiece, then the violin will buzz and it won't sound very good. So just make sure you don't have the tailpiece contacting the chin rest. Okay, so now let's just take it off, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to, again, put the paper clip here in the holes, but now we're going to turn it the opposite direction. So we're going to turn one bracket towards the pin, right? This one over here on the right side of the violin, we're turning it towards it, and then the other one we're going to turn away from that center. Hopefully the camera's picking all this up. Okay, so once you get them pretty loose, then you can just do it with your finger probably. It's pretty easy, it's not really, there's no rocket science here. Okay, so once you get that loose, and then this will come right off. Now, one of the things that you'll notice is on the chin rest, you usually have a cork, and this is meant to cushion against your violin, so you don't scratch your violin, and it also inhibits the transfer of the vibrations into, so you don't have any buzzing or anything like that. Sometimes the cork will be stuck on top of your violin, right? It'll be stuck here. That's okay, don't freak out. You can either leave it there when you put the chin rest back on, or if you're putting a different type of chin rest on, you can just gently remove that. Usually you can pick it off with your fingers. Now, if you need to replace the cork, well, then obviously that's a bigger deal. Then you might have to, buy some cork. It's about about a 1/16 of an inch thick, or you might just have to take it to a violin shop. But hopefully, the cork is, if it falls off, you can just put it back where it needs to be. Or it'll just stay on the chin rest here. But like I said, if the cork falls off or if there's some stuck on your violin, it's not a big deal. Okay, so for this particular type, right? We've got cork, it's on these bottom feet, and then we got the cork on the bottom here. Okay, so now we're just gonna stick this chin rest back on the violin. So remember, when we're putting this chin rest back on, we wanna make sure that the tailpiece is in the middle of this hole. So there's different styles of chin rest, but you wanna, but this one's very common. Usually there's a chin rest, you know, it fits over this tailpiece here. So this hole right here, you want to make sure that this tailpiece does not come in contact with the chin rest, right? So tailpiece should not touch the chin rest, because if it does, it's going to buzz and vibrate. It's going to be super annoying. So just make sure it doesn't contact. So once you got it into place, then you can just turn these little brackets finger tight, you know, so it doesn't come off, and then you finish tightening it with your paper clip. And yeah, you might end up destroying a paper clip, but you know, you could keep a paper clip, you know, in your violin case or whatever, and then every time it gets loose, bam, just get out the paper clip, give it a couple turns, and then you're good. Because a loose tailpiece or a loose chin rest is really annoying. Because it can, you know, buzz and vibrate, and it moves around when you're trying to play. Okay, so now I got it on there nice and tight, and you're ready to go. So guys, that's about it. It's a quick video for today, but you know, we've been getting some requests from customers lately about, you know, their chin rests, and they're afraid. You know, you don't really need to be super afraid, and you know, there's a lot of information on the internet, like on my channel on YouTube, so there's a lot of things that you might be scared to do in your violin that you don't have to be scared at all. There's a lot of information out there, and you know, most of the time, you know, you don't have to really worry about hurting your instrument. I mean, it's a wood box, you know, it's not rocket science, so for the most part. So guys, I hope this video was helpful, and if you have any other kind of questions, you know, just put them in the comments below. I get most of the ideas for my videos from the comments and the questions that you guys ask me, so feel free to do that. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that little alert bell so you get a notification. I hope you guys are having a great week, and until then, happy practicing.